Level 1, the ball boy. You are 14 years old and you're standing on the touchline of a stadium that holds 60,000 people. Your job is to retrieve the ball when it goes out of play and return it as fast as possible because the home team is winning and the manager wants the game to move quickly. You have been briefed on this. You understood it before you were told. The players do not look at you, not because they dislike you. They simply do not see you the way you don't see the person who refills the salt shaker at a restaurant. You are part of the infrastructure. You wear the club's kit, but your name is not on it. Tonight, a substitute warms up 3 feet from where you're standing. He earns 65,000 pounds a week. He has not played in 6 weeks. He stretches in silence, and you hand him the ball when it rolls to your feet, and he takes it without looking up. You will remember this moment for the rest of your life. He will not remember it at all. You are not inside the club yet, but you are close enough to feel the heat coming off it. Level 2, the Academy Scholar. You signed your scholarship at 16 and your parents were in the room when you did it. The Academy director shook your hand and said the club believed in you, which was true in the way that a casino believes in a new table. The potential is real, the odds are already set. You train 6 days a week at a facility that costs more per square meter than most hospitals. Your diet is monitored, your sleep is logged. A sports scientist checks your GPS data after every session to measure how hard your body worked and whether it worked in the right direction. You are 16. You have a performance file. Roughly 180 boys enter Premier League academies in England every year at your level. Fewer than 1 in 100 will make a first-team appearance in the top flight. The club knows this number. Your parents do not ask about it. You are not paid yet. Your scholarship covers expenses around £100 a week. What you are paid in is belief, and at 16, that is still enough. The first time a coach pulls you aside after training to tell you that you have something, you carry it home like it's fragile. At this level, it is. Level 3, the development squad. You turned 18 and they offered you a professional contract. 2 years, £600 a week, with appearance bonuses you will need to actually appear to collect. You signed it in a small office while the first team was finishing a Champions League qualifier on the pitch outside. Nobody came to get you. The development squad exists in a specific kind of limbo. You train at the same facility as the first team. You use the same gym, sometimes the same pitches. Occasionally, a first team player joins your session when he's coming back from injury, and for 45 minutes, you're playing at a level that makes everything before it feel like a rehearsal. Then the session ends and he goes back through a door you don't have a key card for. Your matches are played on Tuesday afternoons at grounds with no crowd or sometimes a few parents on fold-out chairs. You are developing, which is another way of saying you are not ready, which is another way of saying the club is not sure yet whether you ever will be. At this level, the conversation you fear most is not a bad training session. It is a quiet word from the academy director asking if you've thought about your options because the club has some difficult decisions to make at the end of the season. You have not thought about your options. You have only thought about this. Level 4, the third choice. Your second professional contract was bigger, £4,000 a week, 3 years, a sell-on clause the club's lawyers inserted on page 9 that you didn't fully read. You are now technically a first-team player. Your name is in the squad. You have a locker in the first-team changing room, and your shirt hangs next to players you watched on television 4 years ago. You have not started a league match. You came on as a substitute in a League Cup tie against a championship side in October, played 31 minutes, and did nothing wrong. Doing nothing wrong at this level is not the same as doing something right. The manager knows your name. He uses it in training when he wants to make a point to someone else. You are the standard against which the players who matter are measured, which means you matter in a way that will never appear in any statistic. Loan offers come in January. You get championship club, a League One club. The agent calls and frames each one as an opportunity. You listen and say you want to fight for your place because that is what you're supposed to say, and also because you mean it. The fighting is the easy part. The waiting is what takes something out of you that you don't get back. Level 5, the squad player. You went out on loan. You played 23 times for a championship club, scored 4 goals, and came back in the summer with something you didn't have before. Evidence. The manager watched the clips. The clips were enough to keep you, but not enough to move you up the starting 11, which means you are now a matchday 18 player. Named in the squad, in the stadium, in the kit, present for the warm-up and the anthem and the moment the crowd lifts, and then sitting down when the match begins. The substitutes bench in a Premier League stadium is not where you imagined ending up at this stage of your career. It is also not where you imagined watching the game from. Close enough to see the sweat on the goalkeeper's neck, far enough to feel entirely separate from what's happening. On a good week, you get 20 minutes in the 88th when the result is already decided. On a bad week, the board never goes up with your number. You warm up 4 times during the match, jogging the length of the technical area. And the 4th time you do it, you are keeping your legs ready for something that is not going to happen. You earn £12,000 a week. You are in the Premier League. Both of these things are true, and neither of them is the thing you actually want. Level 6, the rotation player. The manager uses the word important when he talks about you to journalists, and journalists use the word useful. And somewhere between those two words is where you actually live. You start Europa League group stage matches, you start League Cup ties. When the left back gets injured in November, you play 6 consecutive Premier League games and you play them well. And then the left back returns and you go back to where you were, carrying 6 good games like a receipt you can't spend anywhere. Rotation players are the load-bearing walls of a football squad. The structure depends on them, but nobody photographs the walls. This is a documented fact of Premier League life that every rotation player understands and none of them fully accepts. Your contract is up in 18 months. The club has not opened renewal talks. Your agent has made inquiries, and the club's response was that they valued you highly, which in football contract language means they are waiting to see if something better becomes available. You are the backup plan, being told you are the plan. In training, you are sharp. In matches, when you play, you are sharp. The problem is not your quality. The problem is that quality at this level is the minimum requirement, not the deciding factor. The manager pulls you aside after a Europa League win and tells you he sees you. You believe him. You have learned slowly that believing him and being right are 2 separate things. Level 7, the first team regular. Your name is in the starting 11 on Saturday, and it has been there. With interruptions for the better part of 2 seasons, you have played 67 Premier League matches for this club. You know the groundskeeper's first name. You know which physio to avoid before a big game because he talks too much and you need quiet. You know the specific sound the stadium makes in the 14th minute when the crowd settles and the early noise drops and the game finds its real rhythm. This is yours now, in a way the earlier levels were not. Not the club belongs to the owner, but the role, the routine, the understanding of what is required, and the ability to deliver it consistently. Consistency is the only currency that matters at this level, and you have been paying in it. You earn £55,000 a week. Your face appears in commercial work for the club's shirt sponsor. When the team loses, your name appears in post-match analysis. When the team wins, your name appears slightly lower in the same analysis. This is the tax on visibility, and you have learned to pay it without comment. The national team has called you up twice. The second call-up felt less surprising than the first, which means something has changed in how you carry yourself, even if you haven't noticed it yet. Level 8, the key player. There's a number that follows you now, the release clause buried in your contract, the one the club negotiated down and your agent negotiated up, and both sides settled on somewhere north of £70 million, which is the price of your absence rather than your presence. 3 clubs have asked about you. The club's response to all 3 was the same, not for sale. You were not in the room for any of these conversations, but you heard about all of them within 48 hours because at this level, that kind of information travels fast and arrives without being asked for. You are the player the system is built around. The manager's press conferences reference you obliquely, our best players, the quality we have in the squad, but the journalists know who he means, and so do you. When you don't play, the team looks different in a way that shows up in the data and also in the eye test, which is a rare alignment. Last season, you contributed 18 goals and 11 assists in all competitions. You were named in the PFA Team of the Year. A journalist asked you if you felt like a leader, and you said the right thing, which was that you just tried to perform, but the honest answer is yes, and you felt it before anyone else named it. The captaincy is not yours yet, but when the current captain is substituted off, the players look at you. Level 9, the captain. The armband was given to you before a home match in August in the changing room by a manager who said 4 sentences and then left the room so you could have a moment with the squad. The moment lasted about 6 seconds before someone made a joke, and the room moved on, which is exactly how it should work, and you understood that instinctively. The captaincy in a Premier League club is not primarily about what you do on the pitch. You already know how to perform on the pitch. You have been doing it for years. The captaincy is about what you do in the tunnel when a teammate hasn't spoken in 3 days. It is about the conversation you have with the manager on behalf of a player who cannot have it himself. It is about losing on a Saturday and walking into the mix zone and saying something true that is also something useful, which is harder than it sounds. You earn £120,000 a week. You have an advisor who manages your image rights, a separate agent who handles your contract, and a financial advisor your accountant recommended after your second contract. Your life has more structure than it has ever had, and also more weight than it has ever had, and some days you are not sure the ratio is right. When the club loses 3 consecutive league matches, journalists write about the team's leadership. You read it once and stop reading it. The only response to that kind of pressure is the next training session, and the one after that. Level 10, the club legend. The contract on the table is for 1 year. Your agent tried for 2, and the club offered 1 with an option, and after 3 weeks of conversations that were really one long conversation with pauses, you signed the 1 year. You are 33. Your body requires 45 minutes of preparation to do what it once did in 5, and you do those 45 minutes without complaint because the alternative is not doing them. And you are not ready for the alternative. You have made 312 appearances for this club. There is a banner in the north stand with your name on it that supporters made themselves, which is the kind of thing that is difficult to process as a fact about your own life. When you are substituted off in home matches, the crowd stands. You have learned to acknowledge it quickly and keep walking because if you stop and let it land, you will not be able to continue, and there is still a match happening. The club has mentioned a foundation, an ambassador role, a seat in the box next season, and a title that means you are still connected without being on the pitch. You have not said yes or no yet, because saying yes means admitting that this is the last one and you know it is the last one, but knowing something and naming it are different acts. Your last match in the stadium will look from the outside like any other match. The ball will go out of play, someone will retrieve it, the game will move on, it always does.